You're at the point now where you're fielding calls and emails from buyers. This is an exciting and terrifying time. Please know, about only 10% of buyers ever end up making a purchase. It's natural to get excited, but you're going to talk to a lot of people who will ghost you, defy you, treat you like a second-class citizen, and just plain infuriate you. That's okay, right? We've learned already that you've got to have a thick skin to succeed in this business. So to keep buyers in line, here are some guidelines. If possible, I know this sounds antiquated, but try to have a phone call or face-to-face meeting. Just because we can do everything on the internet does not mean we should. I have yet to sell a business over the internet without speaking to or meeting a buyer in person. Ask them all the questions. And for your reference, I have a PDF of all of these questions linked as a resource. Please look at them, review them. And just like those seller questions, brokers often black out when they get in front of a buyer and forget to ask really basic questions. When you ask these questions, it's also important to listen to them. They will tell you things that will be like, oh, okay, this is a really good buyer. I don't know if this is a good fit. But you can only gather that information by truly listening to them, qualify them, right? Do they have the experience, money, life situation that it's going to take to buy your listing? So do this by asking those questions that are in the resources and just use your spidey senses. What you cannot use your spidey senses on are the financials. Absolutely, you need to get some sort of net worth or financial statement. Sort of like, don't list a business without these things. Don't continue to work with a buyer unless they cooperate with you on that. Another thing in the cooperation category is get them to sign an NDA. And that is before you give them the full offering memorandum or the address. Follow up with them often. Don't be afraid to ask about money. Sometimes brokers will avoid this at all costs because it's sensitive, or more importantly, they feel like if they are direct with them and talk about money, then they're going to scare a buyer off. If a buyer has money and is qualified and wants a business, you are not going to scare them off. Again, being a yes man in this industry is not going to get you very far. Make sure you arrange and attend showings with the buyer and or the broker. Please don't just send them to the business. Schedule showings. And for that matter, always follow up with your client about those showings and what the next steps are. A seller doesn't like to be in the dark, so following up, whether it's positive or negative, is the kind and correct thing to do. Remember that you are likely representing the seller and not the buyer. Keep that in mind as you're navigating the deal flow. It's common to develop a relationship with the buyer, but please keep agency and ethics in mind.